Yo, what's good, boys? In this video, it will show you exactly how to create your own split on a lean bulk, on a bulk. It doesn't matter. So if you have a hard time knowing what to do when you get in the gym or knowing how to execute when you get in the gym, this video will help you out extremely. Hope you guys enjoy. Drop a like, drop a comment, drop a sub. Enjoy the video.
Yo, what's good, boys? So today we're about to go over the perfect split for lean bulking, and this way you can actually design your own split if you're on a bulk. If you're on a lean bulk, if you're on a bulk, it doesn't matter. But if you're on a lean bulk, you obviously want to do a little bit of cardio and some abs, while a bulk will mainly focus on more abs. But all points, you have your somewhat developed points, you have your weak points, right? Your strong points, there are just a muscle group that you want to work only one time throughout the week, just because it's your strongest part of your body and you need a well-balanced physique so you won't plateau. If you're somewhat developing your weak points, you will want to get into once to twice a week, but your weak points you definitely want to hit twice a week, just because you need to balance out your physique and you need to not be lacking in whatever parts you're lacking in. Strong points, you truly only need to work this muscle group one time a week. Just make sure you go heavy on this day to cause hypertrophy, because you are hitting your strong point once a week. Mine was legs, because I've been working legs for years, but when you've been working on muscles for so long, you really only need one day of it. And yeah, just make sure you go heavy to always keep that muscle retention, always keep that lean muscle mass going, so you don't neglect this body part on your bulk. So all your weak points and your somewhat developed points will outgrow your strong points. You're somewhat developed in your weak points, although you want to incorporate these both twice a week, especially your weak points, because you need a well-balanced physique. You need to be able to present yourself in a good manner, and having a well-balanced physique will do that, rather than just having a big chest and no legs. And it's pretty awkward when you have like just one body part that's completely unproportional with the other. Somewhat developed on how this, you might have more than one body part right here, but it's gonna take some sacrificing as far as your split throughout the week. Unless you're someone that likes to work out every single day, but I know a lot of us only like to work out like 3 to 5 days throughout the week. You should only have your somewhat developed body part. You should be hitting both of these at least once a week. So more times than not, this could be like your arms and your chest, or your back and your leg. This could be like two body parts throughout your physique. You need to be able to incorporate both at least one time a week and once twice. But your weak points need to have 2 days in your split. You need a well-balanced physique, because number one, not only for aesthetics and looking good, but number two, if you want to go run, if you want to go play football or any sport, you need to be able to have a well-balanced physique. And on top of that, preventing muscular imbalances is definitely key as far as just preventing injuries and preventing weak points within your physique. So it's important to follow and assess your physique by these 3 points, so you know to actually target your weak points throughout your week. For example, legs were my strongest point, but my arms needed the most work, and my back and my chest was somewhat developed. This is me after with like a chest pump, but my arms need the most work on my bulk, and that's what I was hitting twice a day, as you guys can see. So we went from chest to arms to legs, back to chest, back to arms, back to back. And with the somewhat developed, you have to sacrifice, because my chest and my back were somewhat developed, but they weren't developed to the point where I needed them to be. So I had to sacrifice one of these. It's only 7 days in a week, so you have to either sacrifice one, or I could hit chest and back. So there were some days I did hit chest and back, but it was mainly, my split was mainly like this, just due to the fact that I needed to hit arms at least twice a week in order to actually see them grow. On top of that, legs were I've been hitting legs for about five years. So legs were my strongest point, which only needed one day in order to like retain all the muscle and keep them growing. The rest day is key, just because your muscles don't grow. Like when you work out, you break down your muscles and you stimulate them, but you don't grow them through working out. You grow them through resting. I know it may seem like that after a pump in the gym, but like I promise you, your muscles will be stimulated after your workout, but they recover and you look better after you recover. And that's why having a rest day is key. Now, not to say you can do cardio, you can do some active like walking on a rest day. Walking, you can only need to like really do a low volume cardio once or twice a week. You can go to cardio, but cardio shouldn't be implemented until after you get your first 20 pounds, because you want to see you're bulking. You want to see the weight gain first. You want to be able to put on the muscle mass cleanly first. But to do cardio, do not do it after your first 20 pounds, because you don't want to affect them. Because the beginner gains is the like most important gains, because those are like the best gains you will ever see, from like when you're first starting to when you first gain the 20 to 30 pounds. Incorporating abs, this is just how much that you want your abs to like truly pop. But 3 to 5 times a week is pretty good for a lean bulk, but any less than 3 times a week, I'm not gonna lie, you're lacking on that. You want to stay lean on your bulk. The goal of the lean bulk is to not gain fat while you're gaining a lot of muscle. So you want to have abs still. See, in this picture, I was still smacking abs. My body fat percentage did go up like 1 or 2, but compared to the muscle I put on from my previous pictures, it was insane. Make sure you're doing abs at least 3 times a week to actually stay lean and not to gain this body fat. Let's say you only have 3 days a week to work out. That's okay, because it's 80% diet and 20% training. When you recover the right way, when you nourish yourself the right way, that's when you see the real growth, not just from stimulating your muscles. Because that's why everyone goes in the gym and they still don't see no gains, because they don't do anything outside the gym to actually recover and grow their bodies. So for a 3-day split, especially for someone who doesn't really have that much time to work out, chest and back would be key. Incline dumbbell press, Smith machine, cable flies, seated rows, pull-ups, all these are very good back workouts, especially used to grow the majority of your back. But when you have time like this, you can isolate your muscles a little more. But when you have only 3 days to work out, you definitely want to implement abs twice throughout the 3-day split, but you just want to make sure that you're hitting all these muscle groups effectively, and abs should be incorporated at least twice out this 3-day split. But the thing is with this though, you might have to spend an hour to an hour and a half in the gym. Compared to like some of these days, you only have to spend about like 45 minutes in the gym, just because like you're not doing cardio, and some of these days you are doing abs, which might lead up to an hour, but you shouldn't have to spend longer than an hour and a half hitting these 3 workouts. Arm day. So your shoulders is a part of your arm, and you do want to incorporate shoulders in your split, but you want to do it on arm day because shoulders only take about 30 to 40 minutes to work, especially with biceps and triceps. And you want to start off with the shoulder press, the hardest movement, just so you have the most energy on that movement. A warm-up set to start off, then you want to go right into your working sets. If you want to go harder on biceps for like drag curls, hammer curls, regulars. You want to switch up the variations of curls so you're hitting your arms pretty differently. And as far as triceps, you want to make sure you're actually doing pull downs, dips, close push-ups, things like that. If you have a pendulum squat, please do a pendulum squat. But if not, that's fine. Hack squats or back squats are the most ideal. A back squat is a very good compound movement, but a hack squat lets you get the lowest. I feel like if you want to like get as low as possible, because I noticed a difference in my quads when I started going to ass to ankles versus just squat regularly. And when you have a weight that you can go ass to ankles on, especially with the hack squat, because it makes it easy for you to get the weight back up. It helps your legs out a ton because you're building up more power with your quads and your hams. There to leg extensions to curls to smack the quads and hammies. Then calf raises. Do not neglect calf raises. A lot of people neglect calves, but calves will also complete your physique as well as make you walk better and make you feel better after your leg days. And then chest day again. You want to do different. You can do the same chest day, but you want to switch up a few things, whether if it's a different type of fly or like a lower press or like a high to low press. You want to switch this up. Now, arm day, it should be relatively the same, unless you want to do some different shoulder movements. But I like to warm up my back, my pull-ups, just to like get a stretch. But you want to go from those to lat pull-downs to rows. Machine rows help out a lot too, but I like the seated row. I like the seated row a lot just because it helps me grow my whole upper back and it keeps you stabilized so you don't have to like use your whole body and you can just isolate your back by itself. Then a rest day, it's a rest. You need to recover, so a rest day is what you need in your split. But this is the 6-day split that I used to be successful that you guys can incorporate into your routine to actually be successful. But don't be afraid to change this up and use this towards your weak points and your strong points of your physique, just off the fact because everybody's body's different, everybody's metabolism is different, so you want to be able like to change this up. So let's say legs was my weakest part of my physique. I would do legs 2 days throughout the week, and let's say my arms were somewhat developed. I'd do arms once, but I'd mainly focus on my chest and my back because my chest and my back weren't developed, and that's just like an example. But yeah, it's just someone who does have like maybe 4 days. For an extra day, I would definitely do another weak point on your physique. So if it's your arms, in my case it was my arms, I'd definitely do another arm day just to make sure that you're stimulating the arms not as much as possible, but enough to the point where they can grow. But if you don't have 4 days, if you don't have 5 days, that's fine. 3 days is perfect and just the amount you need to actually grow and gain muscle while not gaining much fat. But you want to do on one of these days, you want to do cardio. The key with cardio is do not overdo cardio. You're not going to gain weight because when you actually do cardio, you're exerting calories. But the focus on cardio is to burn fat, and the best way to do that is by incline walking. Because when you run, you lose everything. You're losing some muscle, you're losing some body mass. You want to strictly just do walking. Because I promise you, incline walking would do you a lot more justice than just running and just losing all your muscle for just jogging or running. Cut, that's completely different, but it depends how fast your metabolism is on top of just how fast you put on weight. It also helps you improve your recovery as well as your heart health, but you just want to make sure that it doesn't affect your gains. And the way to do that is doing cardio only once, maybe twice a week, but just do walking. Do not jog, do not run. Walk so you're actually still gaining muscle while you're burning fat. Yeah, it's the best way to make your split if you're on a lean bulk or if you're on a bulk. But if you need personalized help, book a call with me below and let's see if you qualify to work with me one on one. Peace out, boys.